Virtual Learning 101. I have no clue what we're going to talk about here.
What?
I don't, but I'm glad you know.
We're in it together. Hey?
We got this. I'm not scared at all.
Well, I'm terrified, okay?
You are?
I am terrified.
Why?
I was terrified because, it's like virtual school at the house.
You're right.
And in the spring, we had like a little emergency bowl. We had to figure it out. And I realized I can't just set my kids in front of a computer. Like, they're going to need help. They're going to need assistance. I had to apologize to my fourth grader. Well, she was third grade then.
Yes, you did.
I felt bad because I'm like, you need my help. You're going from a teacher to, a 3-minute video on something. And
And she struggled a little bit, so we had to help her.
So I was originally terrified. But you know what? This year is going to be a great year.
It is going to be
it's
amazing.
Gonna be an awesome school year.
It's going to be awesome.
We're going to make memories.
We can do this, honey.
Wonder Woman coming through.
Positive thinking. Positive self-talk.
So we may need another one of these in like a few weeks to see how it's going.
Help us! None of that worked. No, I'm just kidding. We talked to the professionals, y'all. So this is not ours, but we talked to the professionals. We thought it'd be helpful. And point number one, we're gonna kick things off with point number one. Know your role, okay? And what that means is know that you're not a teacher, unless you really are a teacher. But most parents who are teaching from home or not even teaching, just be a coach, they said. Be a coach, be a facilitator, and that's gonna be more helpful than taking on the pressure of having to just be like the primary source of your children's education.
Yeah, I loved, we had this opportunity to sit down with our kids and just talk to them about the upcoming school year, that it was gonna have challenges, that mommy and daddy were new with this, y'all are new with this, and so we're gonna have to be really patient with each other.
Yeah.
And so I just love this opportunity to my role, I don't have to feel the weight of something, but also it's not like me performing for the kids or the parents performing for me. Like, we can each have our own roles in this new dynamic we're gonna face, and we can work together on it.
Yeah. It's gonna be a team effort, and that team is gonna include the school. That's what they're there for. Even if our kids aren't going to school to the brick and mortar building, we got to start thinking about school as a community with educational professionals, with teachers, with coaches. And so we got to be willing to ask them for help. Like, one of the things that we just learned is like, hey, get to know your child's learning style, especially while they're home, and kind of tailor things to them. And so what we did is we just contacted one of our former teachers, our daughter's former teacher, and asked her, hey, what do you think about Arya's learning style? And she was able to help us out a little bit. So partner with the school. They have tools, they have resources. Call them, communicate. For working parents, this is really important. Get to know your school's management system, right? And to make sure that you know all your kids' passwords, and you can log on from wherever and see how your kids are doing, so on and so forth.
Yeah, just staying connected about their grades, their assignments. Like, there should be an online system that your school uses, so figure out what that is, and then, check in. So
know your role.
Know your role. All right, moving on to the next tip when it comes to virtual learning was set a schedule. And this for me rang true because my life is one schedule because it's how I stay sane.
She
and
loves
it's like,
the schedule.
Why do you say it like
I love
that?
a schedule now because she loves a schedule.
That's true. Now I'm like, oh, it'll be okay.
And I'm like, no, what are we gonna do next?
But for the kids in particular, this is gonna be important. And it shouldn't just be a schedule that I set. Obviously the school is gonna have a set schedule as far as Zooms or, things that they expect, which they, the professionals that we talked with said, just expect more time. They really didn't have time to figure it all out in the spring, but now that they do, expect for them to be, interacting with their teachers 4 to 5 hours.
Rigorous, they said. Yeah. So 4 to 5 hours a day.
With more breaks. And so just setting up a schedule based off of that, letting the kids be involved in the schedule.
That's what we did with our oldest 9-year-old Layla. Said, hey, here's are some things that we need to accomplish every day. And so set up a checklist, set up a schedule. What are you gonna do from what time to what time? And we helped her with it. But she loves when she gets done with that schedule, because why? That means they can go outside. So they love being able to say, okay, this is what's next, this is what's next. And a lot of times they can manage themselves so much better with that schedule.
Yeah, I think it's in particular helpful for if you have more than one child at home. I know I have a kindergartner and a 4th grader this year. So the kindergartner is going to be a little different than the 4th grader. Y'all pray for me. So yeah, with multiple kids, that'll definitely be helpful. And mommy still has to work. And so it's going to be a new transition for me. But if everybody has a slot of time and they know what to expect with that time, I think we can make it.
We can make it. We will make it.
We will make it, okay? So that's tip 2. Tip 3 is to create a workspace for your kids. And so in the same way that when we work, we have our set space, the kids should really have theirs as well. And that can be the kitchen table, that can be a desk that they already have. But really creating a workspace where they have access to everything that they're gonna need, they said is really important, as well as letting them give some input on, how they want that workspace to look like. And
they got excited about having little posters or making it pretty for our girls. They got excited about, this is gonna be my space.
So we took them to the store and let them pick out a few things.
Dollar store.
And let them pick out a few things. And so I'm excited, the week before to kind of, create a little space for them. So,
and it's important because we have those 2 children. What we've noticed is that, our oldest really does help our youngest with her schoolwork, but it hinders our oldest a little bit in her own schoolwork. And so we're going to separate them. There will be things they do together, but there will be time where they spend a part in their own set space so that they can get more accomplished. They can focus.
That's important.
Focus. All right. Number 4, remember social emotional learning. SEL. I said SEL. I didn't know. See, she was about to tell me. I didn't know what SEL was. Social emotional learning. So, that's very important. Some of that is to make sure that our kids are still getting the social interaction they need with other children. And if they have siblings, that's half the battle right there. But they also need children their own age. And so we can get creative with that using, technology platforms like Zoom to set up little play dates. We can pick a family you trust in the neighborhood, to make sure that even with this COVID pandemic, somebody that you're communicating with, and hey, our kids can play together. We know what we're doing. We know that we're being responsible, but it just helps that way to choose a family. And there's a number of other things you can do.
Yeah, I didn't even know they said your guidance counselor can help set up some socially distant activities. And so I thought that was really great. I know they mentioned that in middle school, this is especially important because in middle school, you start to experiment or, just learning your emotions. And so just help with that. And awareness of that is really good. And I kind of have just resolved this year, like I've had those thoughts of like grades and, these other, academic activities and groups that they was a part of, like how is this going to impact that? But I really want to remember this year, like we grew in like character stuff, family stuff, I don't know. And so for some reason, I don't know, hopefully that stays. Like that to me is kind of becoming more of a like, in my mind, this is a character building year. Like what do you got to do when times get tough to grow? And how do you stay connected and just even seeing the importance of that? So that falls into that for me.
Gotta get tough. You gotta get tough.
Yeah, and even the parents. So, at the end of the day, like we need to be concerned about the kids, SEL, but also the parents.
Yes.
Like there's gonna be times we're gonna be impatient, we're gonna be anxious, we're gonna be overwhelmed. That may be on a daily basis. And so it's like, man, what's going to center us? Like, we got to pray, we got to stay connected to God. We got to stay connected to those in our households. If you're married, your husband, your wife, like being able to stay on the same page. You know, we got to even pray about like, what is the root of my anxiety? You know, what is that? And let's go deeper there versus just, I need a minute.
I'm mad or frustrated, or we take it out on the kids because they're not learning like we want them to learn. Like, I just told you what this answer was. I just told you how to do this problem. No, I don't have an anger issue.
I hope you're not talking about me.
No, that was me. I'm back.
Okay.
But feel like you don't have to do it. But even single parents, make sure you don't have to do it on your own. You have the school community, find a church community if you don't have that. Just to have some kind of support around for this time, which is going to be super important.
And don't neglect yourself. I mean, it's going to be a transition for us all. So in those moments where it's crazy, it's gonna be crazy. It's okay. Like, we just gotta get back to being centered, praying, staying focused. And at the end of the day, this year's gonna be an adventure. You know, we don't know what to expect. We may be back, you know, looking crazy in a month, like, oh, what's going on? But we're gonna get through it. It's gonna be a great year. I'm in the name of Jesus.
Come on now, you better claim it, sister.
I'm claiming it.
Claim it.
It'll definitely be a memorable year. So hopefully these tips can help you when you're thinking about preparing for virtual learning.
I got one more thing for the husbands.
Oh, okay.
Y'all help out. Help your wives out.
Amen.
Don't put this whole pressure on the wives and the moms. Don't do that to them. I told my wife I'm here to help, and so let's work out a schedule. When there's times where I have less responsibility, I'll jump in there and help. And let's just look through our schedule consistently to see where I can fit in and take some of that pressure off. So step up, brothers. Come on, we can do this. All right, let's lead our households well. Let's be positive. Let's be spiritual. Let's be faithful to know that, man, we're going to be home. We're going to make the most of it, and God will be glorified in the process.
Amen.
Thanks for joining us, y'all.